All right, thank you for joining us. Recovery Fitness coming to you from Hope Valley Recovery with a podcast with our guest, Jessica DENMAN. We're glad to have her here. She volunteered her time to share her testimony with us tonight. And I just want to let you know a little bit first about what Recovery Fitness is and what we do. Again, we strive to help folks with relapse prevention through fitness and wellness with personal training, meal planning, group fitness, also individualized plans to work through struggles, trials, tribulations, things of that nature. We provide counseling services, but we also are a good outreach hub. We could try to get people connected with residential treatment, detoxes, mental health facilities, as well as through this nice merchandise that we have. If you want some, it's available for purchase. We donate things to like clothing, shoes, things of that nature to folks who are in need. So we try to be a one-stop shop to help out into the communities that we serve, and it's an honor and a privilege to work with everyone. So please feel free to reach out to www.recoveryfitnesswellness.com and get involved. We encourage you. Our motto is that together we do recover, and you are a member of Recovery Fitness the moment you say you are. So we don't charge for memberships, so come help out. There's a lot of great things happening. We operate out of Crunch Fitness in Hilliard and Crunch Fitness in Reynoldsburg. We meet there and we do group fitness, but we are working on a facility here as we speak. So enough about me, but I have the privilege of working with Jessica in the field of addiction. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do in the treatment field?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a case manager here at Hope Valley. My main job would be to set up discharge planning for my clients, whether it be sober living or IOP programming, just getting them prepared for that next step. While they're here, we work on any legal issues or any other pending problems that they may have that they need help with.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have a great team here, and it's awesome working with you. There's also something else that she takes a pride in doing. On Fridays, we have a pound class that you guys heard Courtney talk about last week. Well, she's kind of the other half of that. She does yoga. She has a passion for yoga. Why do you feel yoga is beneficial not only to you, but for your recovery, or maybe folks who might be thinking about it?
Yeah, I started yoga probably a year ago, and it allows me to truly get outside of my own head. My brain is always moving, which is very common with people that struggle with addiction. So I am given that hour that I can just get outside myself and do something positive, and it is both mentally and physically rewarding.
That's awesome. It's definitely easy to get caught up in your head, and having a place to put it is definitely vital for recovery, and that's one way to do it. When you first, entered the recovery pathway that you chose, how long did it take for you to realize you needed something that had to do with fitness for your recovery?
I would say after I left residential treatment, I soonly realized that I had a lot of time on my hands, and I needed a way to spend my time in a positive way. Even in active addiction, I would still every once in a while work out, but in sobriety, I have been given the opportunity to really invest more time in my mental and physical health. So it gives me a positive outlet that is necessary for the program I work.
Yeah, and anyone out there might be struggling or has been in recovery or are in recovery, that is a very valid point that you make, Jessica, because idle time, getting complacent are two things that I hear as a clinician. Folks who've tried a particular pathway come back, and when I ask them, not so much concerned that you used, I'm concerned as to what led up to it, and that free time, that idle time, is a big hindrance for folks, and not filling that time. So that's a really, really good point. You also had mentioned before too that, after you left residential treatment, I'm just curious if you don't mind sharing, how long have you been sober for?
My sobriety date is August 7th, 2019, so a little over 2 years.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that gave you that desperation, that kind of just like, you know what, I can't do this on my own?
I had battled with addiction for years, and it got to the point where it was completely affecting every aspect of my life, especially my mental health. I was barely making it through the day. I was struggling greatly, and I knew that I was incapable of living life that way anymore. So I knew that it was something medically I needed to detox safely. I was detoxing from alcohol at the time, and that's something you can die from. So it, luckily for me, that recovery experience changed my life. It allowed me to put the pause button and truly look at myself and work on those core issues that I was trying to numb.
That's thank you for sharing that for us. It's important to realize that it's okay to take that time. To take that time for you, and that's been valuable. It is, to my understanding, that your first time in treatment. This is your first time in recovery. You haven't really looked back since, right?
I haven't, no.
That's pretty awesome. That goes to show you, I want to break down right now a common stigma that a lot of you might be taught, that relapse is part of recovery. It's not. Relapse might be part of somebody's story, but Jessica is a prime example to show you that you don't have to keep trying and trying and trying again. That if you do apply yourself and you do find your recovery pathway and do something for it every single day, that you have a shot just as much as anyone else does. It's available to us all, and it's free. Recovery is free. I'm also interested in some of the other physical fitness activities that you like to participate in. You like to run a lot.
I do.
Can you give us the whole scoop on all of that, and like your journey through your some of the events you've participated in?
Sure, absolutely. Let's see. I ran my first race. It was I couldn't tell you the exact date, but it was the Candy Run in Columbus. It was around the time of my celebrating my 2 years of sobriety, so sometime in August. I wanted to do something to push myself and get myself uncomfortable. Large crowds are uncomfortable for me. I've always struggled with anxiety, and I was lucky enough to have my sister with me, and I kind of conquered a fear of, just running a race. It's something I had always wanted to do, so it was a big moment for me. So after that, I said, when can I run my next one? So I actually ran my second 5K. It was last month. The Hot Chocolate Run in Columbus. I ran with my friend Monica, and it was a beautiful experience as well, running with someone else. So I'm planning on running another race in the near future, hopefully a 10K or a 15K, and just kind of challenging myself to a higher level.
That is awesome. I know that you faced a fear. That's a common thing in recovery. I was just talking with some folks earlier this week about it. There's a saying, and it goes, if the pain of remaining the same is greater than your fear of change, then change can happen. So I flipped it into a question, is your pain of remaining the same greater than your fear of change? And it sounds like you're dealing with some anxiety with crowds and some social anxieties. Mm-hmm. So that falls in the mental health realm. Most often we'll see that addiction substance abuse, alcohol abuse, there's usually an underlying secondary or even a primary mental health, some symptomology that goes along with it. It's not uncommon. So after you ran your first marathon, do you feel
5K
or 5K?
Yeah,
there's a difference. I don't know.
A little bit.
Okay, what's the difference between a marathon and a 5K?
So a marathon is like 26 miles.
Okay.
A 5K is 3.2.
Okay, so you ran 3.2 miles, which is
right.
I could probably run I don't even want to say right now. I mean, I work on cardio. Don't get me wrong, but it's not that kind of cardio.
Yeah.
A Stairmaster for 45 minutes and I'm done. So she ran a 5K, and how did you feel after you crossed that finish line?
Oh, geez. If I were to put it in one word, proud.
Okay.
It was a really, it was an amazing feeling. I'm trying to think of a better word, but just really proud of myself for doing something that, just challenging myself. I think I'm at the point where I didn't think for a long time sobriety was possible for me. I didn't think living the type of life I've been given was possible for a long time. So, continuing to challenge myself in every aspect of life is something that I'm pretty determined to do.
So think about, when you were drinking, were you drinking at the bars and clubs, or were you drinking at home alone?
Well, towards the end of my addiction, I was isolating, and I was drinking alone, or I would go out and drink way too much. I mean, it started, with alcohol and other substances. It was more of a party scene until it was no longer fun, and I was dependent on those substances to survive. My mental health was compromised. I became someone I didn't know anymore. And by the grace of God, I was able to get sober.
That's amazing. That was definitely a loaded question. I was asking you that question because, we're running to the liquor store, running to get whatever substances we're using, running right back to our room, or the box that we put ourselves in when we're out there in active addiction. And then we hear stories of the struggle that you faced. You didn't know the person that you were, and then you are now running a 5K, crossing the finish line, feeling proud. That is recovery. You've recovered the person you knew you could be, and you're still growing towards. You're still challenging yourself. I tend to agree that it's easy to get complacent and to not continue challenging yourself. Do you place value on trying to stay active and stay mindful of what am I doing for my recovery today, kind of thing?
I mean, I have to. Yeah. I mean, whether it's, every day I am immersed in recovery based on, my profession, but that I don't incorporate my own recovery into that. I have to still focus on my individual recovery. I talk to my sponsor. I go to meetings. I should go to more. I'm currently in school, so, I try to do something for my own personal recovery every day because, all I have is today, and it's something that I have to work at every day of my life. So
that's good stuff. You're going to school. What are you going to school for?
To be a licensed chemical dependency counselor.
All right. We need more and more people in the field. I went through the same program you're going through, correct? Okay, yeah. So we cut from the same cloth. Great people, though. Great people. I guess. What would you say to somebody who might be out there struggling right
now? Don't give up, and that change is possible. It's funny because I distinctly remember seeing happy people and just like not knowing that type of life was still out there for me. And I thank God every day that I have the life I have. And if I can change, absolutely anyone can.
That's fire right there. That's that fire. It's like at one point in time I'm sleeping on rocks didn't even have like a penny to my name or anything, and it's like a different kind of currency that we deal with in recovery. And if there was a message that we can send out, is that hope exists, and that there's a great acronym for hope, and that's hold on, pain ends. Because the question that I'm asking in this particular session is if the pain of remaining the same is greater than your fear of change, then change can happen. You see Jessica here as a fabulous example of change. I mean, isolation and not recognizing oneself to finding herself through yoga, through running in 5Ks, to working in the field of recovery, getting an education, and helping other people achieve those same goals that at once might have seemed pretty hard to attain, huh?
Completely out of my scope of reach. I mean, it didn't seem possible. So, but it is.
Yeah. So I wanted to, just kind of take some time to let her share her journey with fitness. Is there anything else that you feel would be, part of your story that you feel would help somebody right now?
Oh, geez. Any part of my story.
Any kind of juice, any kind of experiences?
I think, let me see. Give me a second to think.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's a really good. Any part of my experience, I would say the one part of my experience that I feel could be beneficial for someone would be, I don't really talk about it a lot, but I would say my mental health, depression, anxiety, I think I was so scared for so long. And I thought, and the only way that I knew how to cope with these mental health issues were to, pick up these substances because it would feel okay in that second, when in all actuality, it just made my life a living hell. So I guess I want to reach out to those people struggling with mental illness. I actually lost a cousin to suicide not too long ago, and I just really believe in the importance of taking care of your mental health and, always asking for help, because I was lucky enough to have a support system that, helped me through the process, but just to never be scared to do that, because, a new life is, right around the corner if you allow it to be and receive the necessary help.
I can see that was a little tough for you to share, and thank you for that. I know I kind of gave you a big question, but
yeah,
we're trying to be transparent and break down those walls. Talk about the stuff that's not the most comfortable to talk about. I would love to paint this pretty picture of recovery for folks and tell them that it's this, you cross that invisible line into recovery, just like you crossed an invisible line into active addiction. And all of a sudden, things on the outside don't happen. All of a sudden, has to be that reaction, doesn't it? Has to be that reaction to the way things happen. I can relate with that. My uncle completed a suicide himself. So I didn't know if I haven't really ever shared that with you, even working with you, but you're not alone. Mm-hmm. And these battles are fought silently. Because asking for help can be challenging. There is nothing wrong in asking the hard questions, right? Be direct with those questions. You seem off. Are you making plans, or are you thinking of hurting yourself? I mean, you don't have to beat around the bush. You can be straightforward about it, because it doesn't leave a lot of room for someone to hide it. And that just might be the tipping point to say, hey, someone cares about me enough. They've noticed something different within me enough that they're willing to sit down and ask me this question. Because if it feels uncomfortable for me to ask the question, it's probably twice as uncomfortable for them to answer. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's
Sure.
big stuff. So I'm not going to hold you up much longer. I know we kind of ran over a little bit, but again, I want to remind everybody that, as you see through Jessica's story, that you can face anything. There's an acronym for FEAR, and it's FEAR, face everything and recover, or you can forget everything and run. And we end up running right back, and like Jessica said, it was miserable out there. Mm-hmm. We don't have to repeat that. Relapse is not part of recovery. It's not part of Jessica's story. Unfortunately, it's part of mine. I was a late bloomer. It took me a few tries. But I'm just grateful to be here with you, and I learned just as much from you, and we all have something to learn from one another. What I want people to understand is that there's a part of your story that's valuable. Whether you're struggling right now, whether you're doing well, or anywhere in between, whether you think you're not my number one group rule. My number one rule around here where I work is that you're worth it, right? I am worth it. You're worth it. And I don't think we get told that we're loved enough. So if no one's told you they loved you today,
I love you too.
But yeah, so again, feel free to call the number here. You can also reach out, www.recoveryfitnesswellness.com. Us at Recovery Fitness wish you the best on your next 10, 12, 15, 25.
I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling. Let's go for 10K next, and then we'll go from there.
There's a little bit of we'll probably end with a little bit of we got kind of deep, but I do remember there was this really nice gentleman that gave you a nice gift after you ran your first one. You remember what that was?
It was him. He gave me a trophy and a banana.
And there was a note.
And there was a note. I forget, what did the note say?
It said, "Great job. Have a Grammy and a nanner."
Yeah. How can I forget? It was very, very sweet. And I still have the trophy in my office, so it was very nice.
I knew how much it probably meant for your recovery and how much it meant to you, and it's good to be seen. Every now and again, it's good to get that, hey, you're doing right, and you're an inspiration. You really are. You inspire me. Personally, I struggled with my weight, right? I'm slowly but surely feeling better, getting better, but I can always come and talk to her. I've always been able to talk to you, and you're always giving me nutrition advice, and you're able to and you encourage me. You encourage me and don't ever make me feel ashamed of the way I look, and you're always upbeat and positive about fitness and about that, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate that very, very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you too.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys go. Again, farewell, and you guys have a wonderful evening.
Bye.